Good morning, Main Street. So it's great to be here, and I'm excited about the celebration and excited about the Main Street Conference. I'm really excited that we have with us this morning the governor of this great state of North Carolina, Governor Roy Cooper. He is a product of rural North Carolina and a true advocate for our rural communities, our small towns, and our main streets, really understanding the important role that our rural communities and small towns play in building prosperity across this state. So I'd ask you to please join me in welcoming our governor, the Honorable Roy Cooper.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Boy, I see a lot of friends and familiar faces out there this morning. So thank you for coming for this, and thank you for the hard work you're already doing out there. I want to thank Kenny Flowers, Assistant Secretary for Rural Economic Development and Commerce, and Liz Parham. And I want to thank the Main Street and Rural Planning team at Commerce. I don't think there's any question that our main streets reflect the spirit and character of North Carolina. My background is that I did grow up in rural eastern North Carolina. My mom and dad made me work hard on the farm every single summer until I went to college. And as I've said many times, I learned hard work, dedication, and that I really wanted a job with air conditioning when I grew up. And I was grateful to the people of North Carolina for that. And I spent many a day in downtown Nashville, North Carolina, the county seat of Nash County. It's where my church was, on Washington Street in Nash County, where I went to Sunday school and church. It's where the courthouse was. It was where the stores were. The dime store was there, and every time we fouled off a baseball into the weeds, we had to get together our work money and go down to the dime store and buy a baseball. It's where we met and talked. It's where I sold my watermelons that I grew. And our downtowns do reflect that character. And I believe that we know what the challenges are. The challenges for our main streets in rural North Carolina now are higher unemployment, trying to find and get that workforce changed, the challenges of poverty, the challenges of lack of broadband and other kinds of infrastructure like natural gas and water and sewer. And that's what this effort is all about, meeting those challenges. I know that I've met with many people who were in that band of counties that faced the devastation from Hurricane Matthew. And one thing I know is that people in rural North Carolina can face challenges and can overcome them. And you out there, local elected officials, your economic developers, your town managers and county managers, you are doing it. And I want to thank you for that. I'm honored and humbled to serve as governor of this state. My wife, Kristen, will be coming to your hometown soon, as will I. We're traveling all over the state, talking to people, getting to know people, getting good ideas, and telling people what we're doing. As the CEO for the state and essentially the state's chief economic development recruiter, I have a mission statement for North Carolina, and it is this. I want a North Carolina where people are better educated, where they're healthier, where they have more money in their pockets, and they have the opportunities to live a more abundant and purposeful life. That is my mission statement. I told that to a third grade class the other day. They really liked the more money in your pockets part of that. And I tell that mission statement to my staff, to my cabinet, which is not only the most diverse cabinet by far in the history of our state, I think it is the greatest cabinet. We've brought in top talent from private sector, from the public sector. They know what they're doing, and we're working to get the job done. And you are helping to carry out that mission by getting downtowns rebuilt and remodeled and retooled. I wanted to tell you too about the fact that the mission statement also reflects that I am committed to bridging the rural-urban divide. And you don't do it by pitting one against the other. You try to make sure that tide rises and we all float upward. And I believe that we can do that. We've come up with a concept that I know many of you have heard about, and I want to tell you a little bit about it and how it can work with what you're doing already. A few weeks ago, I announced a new effort called Hometown Strong. I announced it in Nashville, North Carolina, at the place where I grew up. It reflects what we want to do. Now, Hometown Strong is not a new bureaucracy. It is not a new agency. What it is an action team in the governor's office, and it is headed by a couple of native rural North Carolinians, Pryor Gibson and Mary Penny Kelly. This action team is committed to partnering with rural areas, with counties, with cities, and their mission is to break down barriers, to work with you to help you get done what you need to get done. In the governor's office, you have tremendous convening authority. And in the governor's office, when you touch base with a cabinet member, they respond to what you're doing. This Hometown Strong team will try to break down those barriers, will work with you to maybe connect you with a grant somewhere that you may not have known about, or to help you cut red tape in a particular agency, or to help bring in even federal help in a project that you're working on. I'm excited about this effort, and I talk to many people about it, and they are excited too, because often in a rural area, you don't have a whole lot of people to help you navigate the maze, which can be state government, and which can be the nonprofit world, which can be the federal government. And Hometown Strong wants to partner with you to help you navigate it. And I believe that it is a real opportunity that we have. We're going to start out with a few counties across the state. We're going to tweak it. We're going to see how it works. And then we hope that we will be able to expand it to other rural counties across North Carolina. I also want to tell you about another effort that may be the most important part of my administration. It has to do with getting our workforce ready for the jobs of today and tomorrow. It's called NC Job Ready. Now, we're working, trying to redevelop our downtowns. We're working to try to make ourselves attractive to companies that will pay higher wages to our citizens. We want to get more money in their pockets. But let me tell you this, I don't care how pretty we make things look. If we do not have the well-trained workforce, they will not come, they will not expand. They need to know that they will have the people to do the job. Now, by 2030, a report I was reading the other day said, by 2030, 85% of the jobs that will be in existence then have not been created yet. We are in a race with innovation. The landscape is changing. So now more than ever, we need to make sure our workforce is prepared. And we're going to do that in three ways. Number one, educational attainment. By 2025, 67% of the jobs that are available and certainly the good paying jobs, are going to require some type of post-high school educational attainment. So we've got to work on education. We have to make North Carolina a top 10 educated state by 2025. We do that by getting more of our kids in pre-K. We do that by getting more of our kids to graduate with a quality high school education, and we do that by making sure we pay our educators, we get our teacher salaries to the national average, we get a good teacher in every classroom and a good principal in every school, as our Constitution requires. And we invest in education. We have to do that or we will be left behind. And we need to encourage our legislature to preserve our tax base so that we can do that. You know, in rural areas that you don't have the tax base that urban areas have. And you depend on the state to make sure that they are providing you with quality teachers and quality principals. And we need a bond issue soon. We need a bond issue soon to help counties build schools, because many of the local areas in our rural areas just simply do not have the tax base to build those schools. And I believe that will be an important part of that. We also have to get more people, a higher percentage of our people, with post-high school education. And the thing we're working on with NC Job Ready, we got to educate middle schoolers and their families about the fact that you don't necessarily have to have a 4-year degree. More and more middle-class North Carolinians are finding that to be a daunting challenge financially for them. And when you look at the opportunities that are there for people with a good quality high school education and then some type of certification, you can make $50,000, $60,000 a year. And if you want to continue your education and get that 4-year degree, great. But we need to make sure that families understand and that school counselors understand and that teachers understand that there are jobs there in advanced manufacturing, in the trades, that are great jobs, that are ready to be filled. But we've got to make sure that our workforce is ready and changed, and that our workforce relies on our community colleges and our great universities to get the job done. The second thing we need to do as part of NC Job Ready is to get the business community involved in the process. We need them to tell us what they need. And I talk to CEOs constantly about what they need. They need a workforce that can think critically, that can figure out problems, that can adapt to change that is happening in the workforce. And our education system needs to respond to that. One thing we are finding that works really well is work-based learning. We need more internships. We need more apprenticeships. We need more partnerships, making sure that young people and people who are changing jobs in the workforce, they don't have to be young, that they are finding their career path, and businesses have to be involved in it. And finally, local innovation. Areas are different in North Carolina, and our rural areas often have to have a different type of approach to job training and economic development than our urban areas do. And we want to let that innovation at the local area thrive, and we want to encourage that. Our Department of Commerce is working hard. The NC Works Commission, I have tasked them with helping to pull this all together. My Commerce Secretary, Tony Copeland, Deputy Commerce Secretary, Napoleon Wallace, we're all working very hard on that. So help me as we work to make life better for North Carolinians. I thank you for what you're already doing. You've already got companies that are out there that are participating with our community colleges. You have here in Johnston County, the Hales Group, which is a steel company that has provided over 1,000 pounds of steel to Johnston Community College, and they in turn have hired 16 welders from Johnston Community College. These work in partnerships. And with your downtown redevelopment, I have gone across this state and have seen great downtowns. I hate to even point out one or two, but because so many of you are doing good work, but I was in Burlington not too long ago, and they are surrounded by magnificent agriculture, but they were having a hard time getting fresh food and produce sold in the downtown area. So they formed Company Shops Market in downtown Burlington, where people bought memberships, and they have a thriving grocery store there, and it has helped to spread downtown redevelopment. And so many towns in North Carolina are doing this and are moving forward in making life better for North Carolinians. I'm excited. I'm excited about where we can go. I'm excited about the kind of state that we can be. We have to recognize that we invest in our people. You're on the ground, you're making it happen. And together, I want to work with you to make this state, our great state of North Carolina, a state that works for everyone. Have a great conference, and thank you for being here. I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. You guys are very kind. Thank you.